Hi guys, it's Annie. Welcome back to BloomTV. Today I am going to do my May wrap up, and I read a total of 14 books, 1 play and 2 graphic novels in May, which is crazy because I had a ton of, I had 4 exams. Well, I had 5 including my art exam, but I had exams and I still managed to read a lot of books. I don't know how that worked, but it did. So yes, let's get on to the books I read. The first 4 books I read are library books, so I don't have them with me today, but I'm just going to tell you quickly what they were, and that is Viscous by V.E Schwab, which I really enjoyed, and it's kind of an exploration of morality and good and evil and like stages, I guess, of evil and like definitions of evil and good and how that works together in our world and like supernatural stuff, and it's really good. But I heard a lot of people that really loved it, and I did like it, but I didn't adore it like a lot of people seemed to. And then the second library book I read was Teardrop by Lauren Kate, and this book was also a kind of a bit on the fence book for me. I mean, I read it up because I wanted something quite light, and I kind of did enjoy Lauren Kate's Fallen series. So I picked it up from the library and it was alright. It wasn't brilliant, but it wasn't awful either. And it was a nice like kind of exam read. And then the third book I got from the library is Siege and Storm by Leigh Bardugo, and that is the second book in the Gier trilogy. And the first one I read previously in April, and I love this series. It's a YA fantasy series, and I just love the magic and the elements of it, and I really love the characters. I love Oleanna. And yes, I really enjoyed Siege and Storm. I really liked how the series developed, and Ruin and Rising comes out later this week, I think, so I'm really excited for that. And then the fourth book I read from the library is The Quietness by Alison Rattle. This is set in Victorian London, and I've already kind of gone into the plot and what I thought of this in my Victorian recommendations video, so if you want to hear more in-depth thoughts on that, then go check that out. And then I also got a graphic novel from the library, and that is Scott Pilgrim Volume 1 by Bryan Lee O'Malley, and I really like this. I saw the film quite a long time ago, but I was really tired when I saw the film, and I never fall asleep in films, but this one I did because I literally had like 1 or 2 hours of sleep. I was at my friend's house and I just like fell asleep watching it, which is awful, but I've always really wanted to like watch it, and I saw the graphic novel. I was like, right, I need to read this, and I read it and I really enjoyed it. It took me like half an hour to read. They're really short, and yes, I really enjoyed it, and I'm probably going to pick up the others from the library, but probably not buy them, I don't think, but definitely carry on with that series. And then I also, sorry I'm going so fast, but I just have so many books to get through and I don't want this to be a really long video. And then I also mentioned earlier that I read a play, and it was a reread for me, and it is Oleanna by David Mamet. I reread this because I had an exam, and I just thought I'd freshen it up and like refreshen my memory and reread it. I actually probably reread it a couple of times just to really consolidate my knowledge on it, and this is part of the AS syllabus for WJC, which is the exam board in Wales. And yeah, I've studied this class. As you can see, this is my copy that has a lot of notes in it. And yeah, I think I might do like a video on like books like that you study in school for exams, because I've read some really great books and also I do English lit, so I also study poetry and prose, which is what this is part of. And I think I might just do like a video series on it, maybe like doing reviews, because Oleanna's a really interesting play. Like I really enjoyed studying it, but I think if I hadn't have studied it in a group with my English class, I would not have enjoyed it, and I definitely did not enjoy the film that was made of this play like at all. But I really enjoyed studying it as a group, and I really enjoyed discussing the topics that this kind of explores. So I'd recommend this. It's set in the 90s in America, and it kind of focuses on American higher education, feminism, equality between the sexes, sexual assault, themes of like control and power. Sorry, I'm just trying to memorize stuff from my exam now, but it is really interesting, so I'd recommend it. And then moving on to the books section of this video, I read Sapphire Blue and Emerald Green by Kerstin Gier. I have that pronunciation problem every time. These are part of the second and third books in the Precious Gemstone trilogy by Kerstin, and I love this trilogy. Like, straight out, I've said this before, I adore this trilogy. The first book is literally, oh, right there, that one there. And these are just such fun reads. I think these are getting a lot of hype now on BookTube. And you should definitely just go check them out. I love Gwen as a protagonist, and these, especially Emerald Green, I really enjoyed like how the series was tied up, and I think I might do a series review of this at some point. Then the next book I read was Shatter Me by Tahereh Mafi. This was a really good book. I've been wanting to pick up this series for a while, but I've never been able to find it in bookshops in the UK, like anywhere. Like even in like Foyles, I think I couldn't find this. I might have been able to, but I haven't definitely been able to pick it up in Waterstones. And this was just a really good read. I really enjoyed Tahereh Mafi's writing style. It's really beautiful. I mean, I didn't adore this book. It was a really quick read actually, and I think the cover's really beautiful, but I think I need to read Unravel Me and Ignite Me to really like, and it, like, I think they develop a lot more. I don't know, but I did enjoy this book, and yes, I'm excited to carry on with the rest of the series. And then the next two books I read were If I Stay and Where She Went by Gayle Forman. I adored these two books. They're a duology, and I'm sure you all know by now, but If I Stay focuses on Mia and her family die in a car crash, and she is left in a coma after this crash, and it's her decision to, she kind of has an out-of-body experience, and it's her decision to decide to either stay with like her family and her friends, like her boyfriend and her best friend, or leave and go to this, like, you know, leave because her close family won't be there anymore. And then Where She Went carries on that kind of the story, but now from Mia's boyfriend Adam's point of view, 3 years after the aftermath of Mia's decision that she made at the end of If I Stay. And these two books are fabulous. I'm gonna do separate reviews of these, I think, so I'll kind of let you know my thoughts, but I would just really highly recommend them. So stay tuned for another series review because I'm definitely doing these. I've just been waiting to get them back because I lent them to my dad. Then the next book I read was the book I read during my exams because I thought it would be a good choice, and it is The Well of Ascension by Brandon Sanderson, and this is the second book in the Mistborn trilogy, and I love this trilogy. I haven't read the third one yet, I'm waiting to buy it, but I just adore this world and I really love the characters, and this was just a really good second book. It's a lot more political than the first book, and I have to admit, this book, there's one character that dies in the first Mistborn book, and I just kept expecting that character to return in this book, and he didn't, but I got over it eventually. And this is a fabulous second book to a really brilliant trilogy, and I'd really highly recommend them if you like epic fantasy, or even if you don't, because The Final Empire was actually my first proper like adult epic fantasy book, and I loved it. So I'd really recommend it as kind of like a starting book for that genre. And then the next book I read is The Madness by Alison Rattle. I also already mentioned this in my Victorian recommendations video, so I won't really delve into that much into it. But I did enjoy this. I just found that I didn't really relate to any of the characters, like not the protagonist and not any of the second characters. So I had difficulty enjoying this book, but it was a quick read, and I love the Victorian period, so it is always interesting to read about it for me. And I think these covers are beautiful, so well done Hotkey for beautiful covers of your books. And the next book is also a book I am going to do a review on soon, and it is Rebel Belle by Rachel Hawkins. You've probably seen a lot of people talking about this. I actually have a written review on my Goodreads page and also on my Tumblr, which I'll link down below. And this, I don't even need to give a synopsis for this book, other than the fact that it involves kick-assery, supernatural elements, and just general kick-ass characters. It's pretty cool. This is a really short read as well, and it's just a really fun read. Like Sapphire Blue and Emerald Green, it's just a really enjoyable read with a protagonist that I really enjoy reading, like their perspective. So I would recommend this a lot, but yes, you'll probably see more in-depth thoughts on my reviews. And then I read this beast of a book, which you knew this was coming, and it's City of Heavenly Fire by Cassandra Clare. This book was brilliant. Again, I'm going to do probably a video discussion on this book, because I haven't really seen many of those, and there's some, oh wait, where did I, yeah, I have marked sections that I just need to discuss with people. This is just like such a big ass book. When I got it from my friend, I was like, what the hell? It's like 700 pages long, but it's just a brilliant ending book to a really enjoyable series, which is the Mortal Instruments. By the way, this is the 6th book, if you didn't know. I'm sure you did. And also, quick note, I got mine signed because my friend kindly picked this up for me from Hay Festival, where I actually saw Cassandra Clare a couple of days previously. So yeah, so look out for a discussion video on that. And then the next book I read, I have actually borrowed from my friend, and she really enjoyed this book and kind of said it was amazing, so I felt like I'd never heard of it before, like anywhere, so I was like, oh, I've got to read that. And it's Heart-Shaped Bruise by Tanya Byrne, and this is about a girl who's in a psychiatric ward of a young offenders institution in London, and she's here for something awful that she did as an act of revenge against this girl called Juliet, and you just kind of learn her story. And I did actually quite enjoy this. I'd recommend it because it kind of delves into issues of mental illness and crime, and which I really enjoy reading about. And yes, I enjoyed this a lot, though I found sometimes the plot to be a bit jumpy, like it would just jump from section to section, which slightly frustrated me. And also I expected the ending to be huge, and it kind of felt like a bit of a letdown, like you find out truly what Emily did right at the end, and I was just kind of a bit underwhelmed by it, which if you've read this book you'll probably be thinking, what the hell, she still did something awful. But I don't know, I was expecting something a bit more from this book. I don't know why, but I still enjoyed this, and it was sort of a book I don't really read that genre of kind of thriller books, so that was something really good to read for me. And then the final book I read is a graphic novel called Jane, the Fox and Me, and this is just such a lovely book. It took me like half an hour to read. I don't really know what the target audience for this is, because I found it in the graphic novel section, not young adult or children's, and I wouldn't really class it as a picture book, but I don't know, it's just a brilliant book. Like, whatever age you're, I think you'd really enjoy this, because it focuses on this young girl, Helen, who gets bullied in school, but she finds help from reading Jane Eyre, which is one of my favourite classics, so which is why I picked this up. And this has if you're interested in art and graphic novels, like in any of that kind of thing, I'd really recommend this, because the drawing style is, I mean, it's just really beautiful. Like, I love it, and I got this from the library, but I'm probably going to pick up my actual own copy. It was actually on my wish list, but I saw it in the library. It was like, I need that. So I'm probably going to pick up my own copy because I love it, and it's something that you can reread again and again. Yes, that's all I have to say about that. So, oh, this video is so long, I'm so sorry. But yes, I hope you enjoyed this video, and let me know what you read in May and what your favourite book was that you read in May, and if you've read any of these and what you thought of them. And I will see you soon for one of the aforementioned review/discussion videos that I'm going to do for some of these books. So yes, see you soon, and I hope you had a great reading month. Bye!